The graduate job market is competitive for both candidates and employers. So, what are you doing to attract the right talent? And what is the 80-20 rule? Hello and welcome to the Boostara Podcast. I am your host, James. On the Boostara Podcast, we speak to leaders in business and uncover the truths and insights from their amazing experiences. At Boostara, we help businesses boost growth, cut costs, and gain better business insights. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you, type the word growth into the comments below and we will be sure to reach out. Today, I'm very happy to say we are joined by Kay Green, Business Development Director at Pareto.
Well,
hello and welcome, Kay. It's Pareto, right?
It is Pareto. Yeah, you smashed it. Great introduction. Yeah, thanks for having me, James. Excited to be here.
Pleasure to have you on, Kay. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from our London HQ in sunny Holborn. So if it's a bit loud behind me, apologies. Could not get a room today, but yeah, excited to chat with you today.
No, that's good. That just shows how busy you guys are, right?
Yeah,
a busy business is a good one.
I'm going to tell them to be a bit louder actually in the back now. Actually, now you said that.
Brilliant. Well, for those of our listeners that have never heard of Pareto, don't know yourself, could you just give us a bit of a rundown on yourself, your journey through the company? Because as I understand, you've been at various sort of different levels and roles over the years, and what exactly is the problem that Pareto kind of solve?
Yeah, happy to do that. Happy to talk about myself. So I was a fresh-faced graduate looking for roles in the summer of 2018. So I actually studied finance at university. One of my mum's friends, he did finance. He had a lot of money, so I wanted to do what he did. He had a really nice watch and a Porsche. But yeah, I did a week work experience, a couple of finance places, and it was just awful. It wasn't for me. To me, numbers, very quiet office. So luckily, one of my friends from university had been through one of our Pareto assessment days. So he says, you love to chat a lot and you're quite hardworking sometimes. So I think this would be a good fit for you. So yeah, I came through one of our assessment days and I've been here ever since. So yeah, worked my way up from, I should probably explain the assessment day and actually how we partner with clients. That would probably be quite helpful. But we are in the graduate recruitment space, finding early careers talent and placing them into junior sales roles. So whether that be SDR, BDR type roles, account management, client success, but bit of a different process. We'll put them through 6 hours of screening. We don't actually CV screen, so which was quite nice for me. Obviously coming out of uni, getting a lot of rejections, no reasons why. And then I could come to an assessment day, kind of show off myself, my personality, show off, I guess, my why, my drive. And that's something Pareto picked up on. But so yeah, I started off in the recruitment team, making 100+ calls every day, phone screening candidates that have applied for our roles, and then was a business development rep, business development executive, business development manager, and then a business development director. So it was a short break in the middle there, but yeah, loving it and loving the team.
Brilliant. And as business development director, what is it exactly you need to do? I mean, is it simply picking up more clients for the company?
Yeah, exactly that. So reaching out to fast growth businesses who are, A, having the challenge of finding the right people, or B, having the challenge of retaining and developing that existing talent. Because we also offer sales training. We are offering senior executive recruitment as well. So reaching out to those businesses, working with the current, the massive accounts that we have, and some of the smaller businesses as well. It's a real partnership model. So it's not just, here's one candidate and hopefully it goes well. It's, what are you guys doing? What are your growth plans? How can we support the people that we placed? What are they doing well in? What they may be struggling with? How can we support them as well? So working with them, with those accounts, running some of our assessment days, which is obviously much nicer being on this side, I can tell you, than being assessed. And then obviously helping with the development and the training of the staff internally as well, which is really nice. A bit weird at times, a bit of a, not imposter syndrome, but why are you guys coming to me for help? But it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I imagine so. And I think, it's a really, not just rewarding, but it is such an important job to match those two kind of groups of people together. And I mean, I'm coming at this conversation from my own perspective. So my own perspective is when I was a graduate, and I found it extremely difficult to find a rewarding job. And in the end, I had to fly thousands of miles away. I went to Asia. I ended up in Mongolia because I couldn't find a job in my area that suited me and the kind of future I wanted to build. So I just upped and left, right? Which
It's not a bad place to end up, Mongolia.
a lot of graduates take that same perspective and I want to kind of dig into this. What would say maybe a saturated graduate market. There's just a lot of graduates
Yeah.
a lot of the time with degrees of which there just isn't the demand for them, right? So I think that's one probably problem that you have to face with graduates, that maybe they're going into roles that they didn't think, pre
Yeah.
going to university that they would do. And then I guess from the employer side, it's the taking on a young person, the difficulties that presents. I mean, can you kind of explain the two, and then, how do you solve that issue?
Yeah, exactly that. So, I mean, on the candidate side, it's, for me, for example, I studied economics and finance, and it's like I only wanted to go into a big finance firm because that's what everyone does. And then actually, I was like, when I heard about sales, because I think sales here, especially here in UK, it's not a bit of a dirty word, but it's not something anyone really considers before university. If I compare that to we got a team out in the US that are also doing the exact same there. They study out there. It's like you're a god if you do sales. So basically, I guess for the people here, it's understanding what is important to them. In a role. They want that sense of belonging. Do they want to progress quite quickly? Do they earn a lot of money? Solve clients' challenges, and then it's matching them up with a role that we think is a good fit. But then I guess on the client side as well, there's, especially when you're a junior person, they don't know the challenges of what a sales role actually entails. Again, when we're talking about the CV screening, there's nothing that's on there that tells you they're going to be great in sales. If I think about our director, he always bangs on about a engineering placement he did at Nestle, but the other one was a rugby player. So there's no common traits in there. That's why we have to spend so much time with them to kind of de-risk that hire for them, because there's so many graduates, like you said, that are out there and are available to you. But obviously, not all of them will be right for a career in sales. Otherwise, we'd be out of the job.
What sort of qualities are you looking for then when you screen them?
It's a great question. So, I mean, we'll go through a couple of different actual interviews firstly before we speak with them. And then I guess it's that communication, the drive, their influence, their structure, their dynamism. I guess the problem solving as well. That's a big one that people don't really think of when they're thinking about sales roles. So, a lot of people think it's just the sort of gift of the gab, which, it definitely isn't. So, the communication, the confidence, the drive, the resilience, the strategic thinking.
I guess would sort of the trainability of them as well kind of come into play.
100%.
How open to feedback are they? Which should be a given at a young age, that you kind of presume that every young person is trainable, but it is also a mindset thing, isn't it?
100%. And I think that mindset, sales isn't an easy role. So those people that have we talk about it, a why, why they want to do well. They're the ones that normally do well because they have that drive, that resilience, but are also coachable as well because, a lot of them haven't done sales roles before. So it's who can take that on board, be that blank slate and just be a sponge.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, have you seen the trends in the qualities of young people that come through your system, through your pipeline, and also the trends in what companies are looking for from graduates? Have you seen that kind of change over time?
Yeah, 100%. I think, when I came through, as a like 24K basic, but this is what your OTE could be. And, this is how much money you could earn. And I was really sort of money focused and money motivated. But I think, we did a, Pareto owned by Randstad. We did a big report on sort of Gen Z and what candidates are looking for now. And a lot of it was around, the training and progression, well, how can they develop themselves to get to the next point of their career? Where can they see themselves up? And a lot of candidates as well are thinking about the sort of psychological safety as well. How can they be their authentic self and share opinions and within the team, as well as a sense of purpose as well. So, probably previously where people can just say, do this, I'm your boss. It's
Yeah.
giving them a why, making it more value led with sort of younger candidates. And then I think with clients, they're actually hiring the people as well, where probably before more kind of boiler room style, heavy cold calling, who's the loudest. It's more like you said, who's more coachable, who's more of a strategic thinker,
Yeah.
because you can't just call someone 100 times now. You've got to maybe send videos or send a link to do a bit of research into who they are and actually articulate the value you can add to that business. So definitely I've seen the trend change.
How has that impacted your operations and your development as a recruitment company, given
Yeah,
those trends?
definitely. I think it's just how we're assessing them, right? We're spending over 6 hours with these candidates before. Someone's just loud, but there's not much strategic thinking. We will find out.
Yeah.
So I always tell people to be themselves on these recruitment days, because we don't want to put them into a role that's not the right fit for them, and we don't want the company hiring them that's not the right fit for them. So it would just be a complete waste of everyone's time, right? So we can really, we do 2 different group exercises. We do a presentation. We're doing one-to-one interviews, so that we can really build out a picture of this candidate. And obviously different candidates fit with different businesses. I know I'm moving my hands around a lot. I don't actually know if people are going to see that, but so um, so it's making sure that we're doing our job and fitting the right person with the right business.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw from your website, the 80/20. I mentioned that at the very beginning. What is that? What is the 80/20 rule? And I guess, yeah, tying in with that is, why should companies bother with graduates? Why not go with people, more experienced?
That's a
Um,
great question, Jack. But so yeah, the actual Pareto's comes from an old Italian economist called Vilfredo Pareto, and he found that 80% of Italy's land was owned by the top 20%.
yeah,
So you can probably apply it to loads of stuff now. So you probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time, or you probably listen to 20% of your music 80% of the time. But we're trying to find those top 20% of candidates that can deliver 80% of your revenue. So if sales leaders are listening, there's probably 20%, a top 20% of their sales team that are delivering 80% of their revenue, and that's what we're trying to find. So, and why graduates? I guess there's no bad habits. People that, especially with the roles that we're kind of placing them into, those junior sales roles, where they're reaching out to as many people as possible. I feel it myself. If you've been in that role a few years, you're not as keen to do that.
mm,
Um, Again, they're moldable. You can literally shape them into your future leaders, and teach them your way of doing things. And they're just, yeah, full of energy, full of drive, ready to prove themselves. Big
yeah.
student loans they need to pay off. And probably the biggest thing, they're a lot cheaper than getting someone with, that 5-10 years experience.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess, the life, long-term value that a graduate can provide, a company, if you're prepared to put the work into them as well, and give them that a journey and that career development, especially given, like what you said, graduates now are looking for that. So if you're a company and you're just wanting to hire a salesperson with no future, then it's probably not worth working with you. You already know that a lot of the people coming to you, they are asking for that, right? So
Exactly that.
you provide that, then you could keep hold of this graduate for 3, 4, 5+ years, right? And that in itself is paying for the investment that you're placing into the graduate.
Yeah, exactly that. You're literally future proofing your business with some great future talent, and that's exactly what we try to do, and find those future leaders,
Mm.
and superstars for your business. We have countless people and success stories on our website. They've gone on to be directors, managing directors, and leaders. And I guess the plan for us is we get some great people in. They do really well, and then the company then backfills, say, we want 10 more of that. So that's
Mm.
how our business has grown. That's how my personal sort of client base has grown. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, and it's great to see as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned future proof there. I mean, how do you guys how do you how do you future proof your own operations? I guess in a climate that is often unstable. Universities. The I suppose the whole ecosystem around universities and going to university is much different to, say, when I was university age. And we had a cap on fees, and does make more value to a degree. How do you future proof your own operations in the kind of current climate?
Yeah, like I say graduates, but it's emerging talent. So,
Mm,
this could be, people that haven't been to university. One of the sort of hardest working people I actually worked alongside hadn't been to university, but he knew that's not something for him. So, or it's
yeah,
people that, in their early careers, maybe they've done finance or engineering for a year or two and it's not for them. So, that's a good way where we kind of diversified, I guess, the candidate pool. And then in terms of sort of clients, we're not industry specific. We're sales specialists,
mm,
and we've worked in, obviously tech, finance, energy, construction. So anyone with a sales team, we can support.
yeah, yeah. And I guess anyone then, if they've got a sales team, that they should be looking at growing. If they're looking at growing, then that's where they can form a great relationship with yourself.
Exactly that, and a big push for us as well is the technical skills gap. So we're getting a lot of because we're attracting so many candidates. I think it's probably 32,000 every month. We are now able to support the sort of junior technical hires as well, and then
Yeah.
putting them through training programs, which can be funded by the government as well. So it's
Wow.
just it's just because of the scale of our operation, we're able to support in a number of different ways.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very interesting insight. And we've had quite a few different niche recruitment companies, join the podcast. And I think that, one thing that stands out with sales is, I guess, that you probably get more highly scrutinized on the performance aspect of the people that you place. And I guess, is that a challenge for you guys, especially as you grow and you develop? You mentioned the operations in the States, right? Like to keep on growing and keep on developing yourselves. Is that the biggest sort of bottleneck, is ensuring that sort of results are delivered by the people that you place?
Yeah, exactly that. It's the one industry or role where you have that target above your head and that you need to hit really. But I guess the people that are coming through, they know what they're getting themselves into, and they've been properly vetted, and then once they're then placed, we're giving them that support and giving them the toolkit to be successful.
Yeah,
It's not here you go, best of luck. It's right, what skills or what I guess it's finding the people with the will, and then we
yeah.
can then give them that skill. So, coming back to the Pareto rule, it's probably 80% will, and then that 20% trainable skill that we can add to that to make them the full complete package.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I love the focus on yeah, on numbers, because I think in the end it always comes down to a numbers game, right?
Yeah,
For attracting the talent, for training the talent, for putting the talent in place, for the actual job that they're doing within sales. It's all, you should be looking at the data, right? Um,
100%.
Percentage will, what are the KPIs transitioning from one step to the next? I guess, Kate, is there a good case study or kind of hero story that you can tell us, from the work that you've done with clients?
Yeah, one of my first candidates that I actually ever placed, a girl called Roxy. I'm sure she'd love the shout out. But she had no sales experience and was looking to. Okay, she was getting constantly rejected by these SaaS businesses, so the software as a service businesses. But came through our process, we saw some real drive, real resilience that we could attribute towards a sales role. Our first interview, actually a virtual interview, around sort of COVID times, and her director at the time said, "Can you tell me about a skill or something you said you love to learn outside of work? Can you tell me about something you've done?" And then she actually was into kickboxing and said, "I've learned this new kick." And she said, "Oh," he said, "Can you show me?" And she said, I can't because I've got these dinosaur leggings on." And it was just that, I guess, the instant likability, obviously people buy from people, but obviously there's some more great
Mm,
examples in there, but it was a great story because I obviously got the call and I was like, she definitely hasn't got the role. But she had, and did a couple more interviews. And she's now managing a team of sort of 6, 7 that are delivering, masses amount of revenue. So it's a great, she's only been there sort of 3 years. So, and that's just one example, we've got a website full of loads of them, but that's just
yeah,
probably the first one that sprung to mind because she was obviously confident and driven and resilient, but she wasn't getting anywhere. So she obviously came to us. We were able to help her out, but then able to help out the client with some, I guess, some immediate wins in terms of revenue that year with the accounts, meetings, and demos that she was booking, and then
yeah.
now leading a team and hiring to grow her own team. It's obviously great to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an amazing example, and that just shows the power of recruitment in general. It should be win-win, right? It should
Yeah.
be candidate wins and the employee wins, right, Wayne? recruitment is done well, right? You mentioned a little bit previously your toolkit, right? You have the toolkit that you give your candidates as they go through the process with you. Talking of tools and AI, I'm curious, what's your perspective on the current AI revolution we're going through, the impact that it's having from your standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's all positive from my side. I guess I know that they're thinking about. There's been a lot of talk about will AI eventually replace SDRs, but I just don't think with the amount of salespeople that are out there in the minute, and I guess the human touch that's needed. I get countless emails each day, and if you can see that they're AI written and pretty generic, it's getting deleted straight away. If it even makes it through my spam folder, so we're getting a lot of success in the minute with people sending videos. About how they can help and how they can support. But even in my day to day, I think it's just really helping speed up those sort of admin sides of the role, and making us more efficient. Whereas we might not have used it before, we've just kind of embraced it now, and we've got our own Gemini tool that's built for us, which is just making everything just with a click of a button. You can get references done or whatever you need to do. But yeah, it's just I think is making such a huge impact and making us more efficient.
Yeah. What you mentioned there, the SDRs, I think that's something that's been talked more and more and more about. And I think you're absolutely right. There can't really be a point where you're fully replaced, because the thing with sales is there needs to be that connection, there needs to be that conversation. We had
Yeah.
we had Jason King on last week, and he mentioned he'd been put on a call with someone had booked in a call with him. He showed up to the call, and he had an avatar bot on the call, very human-like, a
Yeah.
very attractive person, but he knew straight away that this person wasn't real. So he just said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and the bot didn't know what to do, right? But it was the fact that someone had tried to do that, then it's immediately trust broken.
Yeah.
And especially when we're talking about sales and higher ticket sales, especially, there's various touch points to develop that relationship and to build that trust, that relationship, to get that person over the line, right?
Yeah.
And you can't automate that. You can maybe automate certain parts of the touch point in conversation, like email correspondence, but the real value is in that conversation, right? That's
Yeah, exactly that. Because we're definitely utilizing a number of sort of AI tools at different points within the sales process, but those touch points I think need to be human. People are buying from people at the end of the day, and understanding their challenges and how you can support. I just don't think AI can do probably today as of right now. Maybe in a few years I'll have to sort of eat my words, but yeah, definitely at the minute I just can't see it happening.
I'm curious, you mentioned the Gemini tool. So how has that helped your internal process? What exactly does that help kind of automate?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I think when at the start, so if we're finding prospective leads to reach out to, I can generate a lead or a list of leads pretty quickly, which I can then qualify or disqualify. And I'm then organizing my accounts, by industry, by size, the different people I want to reach out to that I haven't spoken with in a couple of months. That sort of organization piece where I was absolutely awful before, it's really helped out in terms of our actual screening as well. We still need that human touch when we're screening, but then we can rule out people that potentially aren't in the right location for specific projects that we're working on, or don't have the specific language capabilities or the right to work, for example. So it's made our screening, because we're getting so much applicants each month, it's made that even more efficient as well. So those are just a couple of different bits we're using.
Mm-hmm. Do you sort of internally, because interestingly, Pareto's at a sort of a larger scale, is there any hesitancy from different departments sort of headbutting, like, oh no, we can't do this, data compliance, are there any sort of areas that people disagree on?
Yeah, it took a while to obviously get it in place to make sure it's, like you said, all compliant. Obviously, we can use ChatGPT. We have to use our own internal tool to making sure that's way above my pay grade, but I know it did take a while to get in place. But now it's actually quite well, because we'll actually have sort of weekly calls with each other and see how different departments are using it and how we could actually implement that as well. So it's one team, one dream at the minute. But yeah, I know at the start it was quite difficult to get in place.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question I pose to everyone. to get you thinking. So if you could bring AI into any part of the business operations, whether that's the candidate aspect of things, the client aspect of things, or even more general admin, internal admin operations. If something could be taken away by AI and you don't have to deal with it anymore, it's just over and done with,
Oh,
what part of your operations would that have like the biggest impact on the business, do you think?
that is that's a good one. I think, the first one that kind of popped to my head is, after you've done a meeting with a prospective client, and then it's, the writing up of a sort of proposal, because obviously you want to tailor it to that client and make sure it's, what they need and it's not just
Mhm.
pretty generic. But if that can be done by AI, which you can get it to do most of, probably if you're feeding it the right prompts and working with it, but that would probably save you the most amount of time, because then you could obviously just meet, I don't know, probably not unlimited amount of people each day, but
Mm.
so yeah, that sort of note taking and the proposal writing is probably where you spend the most time, because you want to make sure it's tailored for the client and it's relevant to their needs and the conversation you just had.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the part I'd say is that I would take away and get in.
Yeah, yeah, that's like it just takes because I mean, writing proposals, remembering specific things that were said, the numbers,
Yeah,
making sure they all match up.
yeah,
But if it's just done, then it's just get pop onto the next call, right?
that's
And
the
then
absolute dream.
and I think that's the whole point with AI, because it's very interesting talking to different people, different businesses. But the for people at your level within an organization, it's the same aspect is time saving, speed, right? We can
Yeah,
do more, right? I think people at a very kind of, it sounds horrible, sort of base level working, right, will worry about, oh, it's going to replace my job.
yeah,
Yeah, of course, there is that aspect. But then if your job is something that could be replaced by AI, then probably you need to be thinking about what more you could be doing, right? And it could simply be, all of your salespeople, they're going to have a job, because if their job is all about speaking with people, that's not going to be replaced. And you can already
yeah.
see that the Jason King example, that people do not like that. That's going to take an
It's
extremely
horrible.
long time, but people want people. People buy from people. That's an age-old saying, right?
Yeah,
But if anything that is, requires some sort of manual input can be just taken away, then we want that, right? Because then we can deal with more and we can grow quicker.
yeah, exactly that. I mean, I went home the other day and my dad was trying to sort out his Wi-Fi and he was just on the phone to like an AI bot and he was losing his head. He just said, "I just want to speak to someone that can help me." And the actual speaking with people, that's never going to get taken away. But if we can use it to just be more efficient, save time, and then ultimately do more deals, get more people recruited, reach out to more businesses, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Going forward, for Pareto, we've talked about the growth that you're at. You're in the States, you're in the UK, you're in Europe as well,
Yeah, all across Europe.
right? So, going forward over the sort of next 6 months, a year, is there anything in the pipeline? What are you guys looking towards?
Yeah, I think it's obviously growing, with the people we're working with, how can we grow? And because obviously, like I said, we obviously do the training and more junior technical hiring. I think that the technical hiring is a big push for us as well, because we've seen such a gap in that market where, senior technical people are so hard to find, or, the good ones anyway, and they're, very expensive. So it's how can we grow, that exactly the same how we've done with the sales teams. How can we do that with more technical teams as well? So yeah, and then just, I guess, diversifying the sort of industries we're working in. It's just a massive push on all angles, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. And but, results speak, right? So if the candidates you're placing are delivering results, then people just want more and more and more of that, right? And
Exactly
that
that.
allows you to grow and do more good work, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, brilliant. Well, I mean, for anyone that's interested in reaching out to you, specifically, Kay, what's the best contact details to get you on?
Yeah, K Green on LinkedIn, the letter K Green at pareto.co.uk. Yeah, best ways to get to me, and I will reply pretty instantly.
And ideally, people that are looking to bring in sales teams that are looking to grow, those are the kinds of people that you want to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. And high growth. I mean, some businesses we don't even work with for 6 months to a year before we end up working with them, we can just share market insight, what other leaders are doing to inspire growth. And then, yeah, obviously any candidates that are looking to get their foot in the sales industry, always happy to help as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would, off the back of this conversation, I would push, every company listening, if you were hesitant about hiring graduates, maybe change your mindset, have a conversation, with yourself to see what's possible and what is actually happening. Because obviously, if you are growing off of the back of, sending graduates, training them up and sending them into sales roles, then obviously the graduates are doing something right. You shouldn't be thinking about them negatively.
100%. Yeah, no, I just echo everything you said there, James. Yeah,
Yeah,
split
yeah,
my
yeah.
words right from me.
Well, I guess, yeah, in summary, big thing I would take from this conversation is, yeah, exactly what I said there. Graduates, consider them, and especially with a recruiter such as yourself that will go through the process of vetting them, training them, initially training them up, and then placing them into the correct place that's good for them, right? It's not just about finding the right talent, but also placing the right talent. It's got to be a win-win situation for both the employer and the candidate. Yeah, that's what you guys at Pareto do really well, and that's what graduates can have that transformative, effect on a company. And when you're considering a graduate, the potential is for long-term opportunity. Yeah, thinking these guys are 21, you could be holding them on for 5, 10, 15 years, and what that could mean for the future of your company when you've got that kind of talent developing within your organization. And when we talk about AI, conversation wins, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Conversation cannot be taken away. That's the most valuable thing, and that's why you guys in your position have a healthy future, and anyone that needs and relies on in-person sales has a healthy future, because that is the essence of human spirit. We need to talk to people. Yeah,
100%.
yeah, brilliant. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Okay, really, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, James. Great to
Brilliant.
speak.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening today. Please like and share this video so we can get this out to as many people as possible. Thank you.